scientific notation is not a game we play like, oh, hey, look, I can change numbers, right? We use those in our math a lot of times because especially chemistry and physics apply a lot of math. And a lot of times it's just multiplication, division kind of stuff. But we very often deal with very large numbers or very small numbers. So we need to be able to do that. So there are a couple of ways to go about the math. Number one is, remember the rule for multiplication is I multiply the coefficients and I add the exponents. And with division, I divide the coefficients and subtract the exponents. Or I can just put it all into a calculator and let it do that for me, right? So cell phones, I don't think usually have a very good capability of this, but all I have to do when I want to do this is 2.4, and then every calculator is a little different on that. But this one has a times 10 to the button right here. So you see that little times 10x, and then it pops that up. Most calculators have an EE right here or an EXP down here. So the calculator I tend to use is my old graphing calculator from when I was in high school back a bajillion years ago. But there's a little EE button right there. So I would hit second and then that EE button. So like I would type 2.4 EE 5, and then that number is in there for scientific notation, right? So you see the little E5 that's right in there. I'm trying to follow my finger, right? You don't have to hit times or 10 or anything like that. You just hit E5 and then times that by 7.6. Again, 7.6, and then e to the negative 6, right? And then it just tells me it's 1.8, 1.824. I'm just going to do 1.8 for our value on that. Or I could times my coefficients and get 18, add these two, get negative 1. And so then 18, 1.8 times 10 to the negative 1, or 18 times 10 to the negative 1 would give us our 1.8. Right? Same kind of thing with this. With this one, the only thing is you've got to make sure and put parentheses around everything. So for this bottom one, I could either divide the coefficients and subtract the exponents, or I could do 2.4, or I could do parentheses 2.4 times 10 to the 5th into parentheses, right? So type it in so it looks like that, and then hit divide by, again, put parentheses. These ones we have at school, you have to make sure and do parentheses on those guys. So then again, it's typed like that. And it's not hard to do, but you just want to be comfortable using your tools, right? Like a carpenter doesn't get a saw and never use it, right? So if we're going to use calculator, we want to make sure we're using the same calculator all the time. So if you can, I definitely recommend getting a calculator and then using that calculator so you're comfortable with it. Anyway, that's how you do multiplication and division. Addition, subtractions, the same way on the calculator. You just hit plus and minus, you just have to punch them in. Or if you're going to do it by hand, line up the decimals so you get them to the same power of 10 and then just do the addition that way, or subtraction.